Hello, my name is Natalie Rodriguez Toledo, and this is going to be a very exciting series for me. It's going to be my first series that I put up on YouTube, and my dog just knocked a pillow off the couch. Thank you, dog. Hey, he's really excited right now, and I want to talk, but he's in my way. Hi. Hi. So I'm very excited for this series. This series is going to be me making my Rosalind costume from the play As You Like It by William Shakespeare. So I did a smock, and then I did stays, and a bum roll, and a wheel farthingale, and then the skirt and the frill, and hi. and then the bodice that goes on the top with the stomacher, and there's just so many pieces that went into this. The summer started, I went over to my theater group and I asked them about this thing that they were doing, which is districts. So what they do is they take, everyone has a different category. You can go in for acting, you can go in for things to do with tech. So I was part of the tech section, and I went in for costume construction. So there was a list of tech titles. So for 2019, there's different plays. So I picked the play As You Like It by William Shakespeare. And then from there in June, I read the play. I picked my character, which is the character Rosalind. So the first video, which should be this video right here, is gonna be all about what I did and how I got started with my researching, my journey through that, into buying my first fabric, which was linen, for the costume. And so I made a smock with that, and that's what this episode's going to be about. Some exciting news. I have just acquired the book, The Tudor Tailor. I did an interlibrary loan with Valencia College because the book was in Palm Beach, so it went all the way over to here to Orlando to my college, and now I can finally open it up and figure out more information that I need for this costume. So I've been borrowing this book from UCF, my local university. So I have Patterns of Fashion 4, a book on needlework, Tudor Tailor, some more Patterns of Fashion, and Jenna Arnold's Queen Elizabeth's Wardrobe Unlocked. So that is very exciting. To get started on my costume, which is my Rosalind costume, I am figuring out what I need to do in order to start the smock. I have already pre-washed my fabric. It was hanging to dry last night. It's all dry, and I can start cutting as soon as I'm ready. So to get the neckline that I want for this costume, I have to make sure that the smock has the correct neckline as well. So as you can see, the majority of the timeline has very, very high necklines. But then randomly in the 1590s, which is similar to what I am doing, the neckline goes down. And most of the examples in these books have smocks that have high necklines like this. So I have to alter mine a little bit to be able to get a square neckline like this. I am going to be doing sleeves with volume, like the examples, and I'm considering to do cuffs. I just have to figure out the closures. Everything in red is where I'm planning to do embroidery. I've been trying to figure out the stitching that I'm going to do. I've been looking at the needlework school book and the Patterns of Fashion 4 guide to figure out what I need to do. There's a lot of really, really cool open work insertion seams, which I would love to try with this smock, as well as different stitches I want to practice. I have fallen in love with this red stitch work on top of the linen. And I know these are men's shirts, and the time period for this amount of embroidery is a bit ahead of what I'm doing. However, I am planning for my costume for the smock to have red. I just won't be going crazy embroidery on the sleeves. Well, I mean on the sleeves, because I do not have enough time. So this is similar to what I want to accomplish with the seams. I will not, well, I don't think I will be doing this embroidery along the sides. However, I will be focusing primarily on accomplishing the center right here. And if I'm able to do it, I think it'll be gorgeous. So I have my linen, I have my examples. I'm going to start figuring out the shape of my pieces. I'm debating whether or not to hand sew this. I remember I really enjoyed hand sewing my chemise when I did my Violet Evergarden costume. Well, cosplay. I don't know, it would be so lovely if I could sit down and use this as an excuse to get some hand stitching done. Bernadette Banner, you have infected me with hand stitching. I am forever accursed. I have sort of figured out how many inches each square is from the pattern, and I'm gonna have to measure myself to make sure everything's fine because, well, you cannot tell this from the camera, but I am a tall human being. I am about 5'8.5". I'm pretty much the same height as a man in this time period, and not a woman, which is fine. It's completely fine. It's actually great for the play, because the play is as you like it, and my character that I'm making is Rosalind, and she dresses as a guy because she's unusually tall. So I'm unusually tall, sort of. It goes. Right now I am just looking at my linen, spreading it out, and making sure I am making no errors, so that I can start cutting out sleeves and different things. You can see one of my dogs over there. They're normally not allowed in the sewing room, but I have allowed them in here so I can keep an eye on them. I brought their little doggy beds, and the other one is somewhere in the room. Oh, look, there he is. Hi, Pedro. So, I'm noticing that my linen was not cut straight, so I'm going to have to correct that, or at least make sure that whenever I'm cutting my pieces, I don't accidentally put it on a slight bias. Forgive me, it's not ironed yet. I haven't been bothered to do it yet. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to iron it until I cut out the pieces, which is fine. I mean, the dogs are pretty much harboring the ironing area. So you may not be able to see it, but I have started a very long process, which is to take one thread from the linen. If you can see what I'm showing, you can see that there is now a very obvious line that is forming from taking out this one thread. And hopefully this won't take as much time as I think it will. So here I am. I have done the first piece of many. So you can see the line going up, and you can see the line going this way. So yes, I am really excited for this. Just questioning which pieces to do next and what's the best way to conserve fabric. Because, you know, I don't have much money, and I do not want to waste what linen I have. I've did the thing I told myself I did not want to do. So, this is not the size I want, but it's fine, I'm going to make do, and I'm probably just going to use this piece up top instead. It's okay, I'll figure it out. The good thing about smocks is they come in all different shapes and sizes, and so I just have to play around. Please excuse the dogs barking. Pedro! Hey! They can be twerps. This giant rectangle is what I've accomplished thus far. In case you didn't know, a chemise is basically, well, chemise or smock, whatever. Well, that was a voice crack. Chemise or smock, however you want to say it. It basically concises of rectangle, squares, and triangles. So not much to really gaze at, but this took me a while, and here you go. And now, on to the rest. Okay, so here's what's happening. So this is the fabric I have left over. The pieces I have cut out is, I have the front cut out, the sleeves, which you can barely see, but they're here. They're just everything's rectangles, and the back. What I need is the side gores, which are triangular, and I need, I believe they're called gussets, these squares that get folded over into triangles and sewn around the armpits. So I can get the gussets easily out of here, and even maybe some cuffs, and I'm thinking of doing some piecework to be able to make the triangles. It won't be as pretty, but I do know that piecework is historical, so that should be fine. I just have to figure out how big I can make my triangles and exactly how high up I can insert them to add volume. I'm on day 2 of working on the smock, and hopefully everything goes fine. To save as much fabric as possible and to insert it into the smock to add volume, because I want to be able to move my legs around underneath the whole outfit and not be restricted at all, so that, you know, if I want to do some sort of dramatic kick or do something funny or lean a certain way, or maybe I have to run or something, I'm not restricted at all. I've cut these. This will be one, and then these 2 will be attached to the bottom of each of these once these are sewn. I have not decided if I'm doing insertion seam work in red at these seam marks, because I don't know if it'll look pretty at all. I'm on the couch because I'm trying to correct my posture, but it's not working. And also because the couch has plenty of pillows, which I can pin the fabric to help me sew faster. I'm really questioning my reasoning for doing the entire smock by hand, because I'm not doing the entire dress by hand, and most likely I'm not even going to do the stays by hand, although that could be fun. If this Rose is stitching, I'd have to do wouldn't drive me mad. But overall, everything's fine. You know, nothing like trying to teach yourself proper posture while you're sewing and having a camera mounted strangely to your person and then struggling to thread a needle. Little update. So I have this tiny little section right here that swerved out of line. We need to go a little more this way to make it more straight. And it's driving me crazy. And I keep telling myself that I should go back and do it, which is what I've actually concluded to do, to redo that section. I don't want to say lazy, but the person inside my head that tells me time, you're running out of time, tells me I should just leave it. But the perfectionist in me tells me, but what if you say it's hand sewn and then the judges look at your thing and somehow they find that one little area where your stitches swerved. So for the sake of my own sanity and being able to sleep at night, I'm just gonna redo that one tiny section. Okay, so I have somehow figured out how to work my camera, and I am just gonna start ironing these because my linen is infested with wrinkles. Okay, so quick update. I am starting to hem my pieces. So over here, While my mom was drawing at her appointment to draw blood, I was sitting down, and so I just took advantage of the time and started already hemming this piece. Because what's going to happen is each piece that I cut out is going to be hemmed and then it's going to be attached together with embroidery floss. And I was able to go to the store, which I'm really happy about. I picked up some white thread so I can have the receipt, and I also picked up some red embroidery floss. And I know it's not exactly floss because what I got is a little bit thicker and came in a roll. I don't know exactly what this would be called, but I know I can use it for embroidery. And it's a nice thickness, and I think it'll be nice, especially since I want the embroidery to be able to be seen. So I'm really excited about this, especially because it's really nice against the white. It's a little bit bizarre to me because every time I look at the historical sources and all the examples, the white is always faded, like more off-white, and the color is more faded too, and that's just because of age. So although my brain's like, but I want it to look just like what I've been looking at all this whole time, I know that that's not going to be possible unless my garment sits for like 300 years, 400 years, which is fine. It just means that what I'm making is nice and fresh like a daisy. So I'm going to switch over to time lapse, and hopefully I can get all the hemming I need done today. In the meantime, while I'm hemming, I'll be listening to an audiobook because I'm finally taking advantage of my local library and all the free stuff I'm able to listen to. And yeah, I'll get back to all you soon. So here's the update. I have one side of the front of the smock done. Let me put this right here. And then I have the two sides of each sleeves hemmed. I'm still debating whether or not if I should do the whole sleeve yet, because up here needs to be gathered. So I'm wondering, do I gather first, then hem it, or do I hem and then gather? How would that feel on my shoulder? So over here, I have the front piece, and while hanging it against myself, I realized I may have to make it smaller because I don't want the shoulders to when I attach the sleeves, for the sleeves to droop down my shoulders and start right on my upper arm, because I want it to sit right on top. So most likely I'm going to have to thin this out, which is a good thing that I only hemmed one side. And then once I get that size, I'll pin it, figure out more things, and see if I need to make the back piece smaller as well. Most likely I do, because I cut these the same size, but you never know. Maybe the back would work better the size it is already. So that is all for now. Hey. So a little while ago, I woke up at 12. I slept in, and I feel mad at myself for sleeping in because I don't like wasting the day. But I guess I needed it, so oh well. Had breakfast, organized a little bit. A friend of mine was texting me. But now I am getting ready to do the to hem the gussets. I've already cut out two. They're 4x4 inches. I am looking at the smock. I have cut down the front and back piece smaller so that it actually fits me and doesn't drag off too much when I have the sleeves on. So now all I have to do is hem them, and then I also have to obviously hem the gussets. And I am contemplating whether or not these side panels, which I had to piece together, should end more triangular. Because right now they end more like a rectangle. And I'm wondering, should I add more? Because I do have some scraps. but would that look weird and would that be too much piecework? Because again, this is for a competition and I want to make sure that what I'm creating actually looks good in the end. But at the same time, there is this one side of me that is staring at those pieces and wondering, hey Karina, the actual references you're looking at has it very triangular when you lay it flat. Why not do the same? We'll see how that goes. Because I have been known to push myself too far. For perfection. But yeah, so that's what's happening. I'm going to be listening to some audiobooks while I am hand sewing, and hopefully I'm able to achieve a lot today, because I also have to get this room ready, because this weekend we are going to be removing the pool table, which is right down here. You probably can't see it. I've been using this pool table for about 3 to 4 years for sewing, and it is a big space, but it's really old and wobbly, and recently a family member of mine actually donated, gave to me a actual sewing table. It's one of those quilting tables, but it has storage underneath, which I'm really excited about. So this weekend we're going to be taking out this table, putting it in, and I have to make sure I get the smock done by Monday. Because Monday is when my senior year starts of high school, and I want this smock to be done by the end of summer. So I have about 4 days, including today, to finish it, and we'll see how all this goes. So all the pieces have been hemmed. The only parts that are not hemmed is the neckline and the sleeves. Also the sleeves at the top, because I found out how to do what I wanted to do, which is I have to gather it first, attach them to the garment, and then use another piece of material, but I just cover it. In the Patterns of Fashion book, where they described, they had multiple pictures on men's shirts, and they had that gathering at the top with that piece of material covering the gathers so that you don't have it directly touching the skin. So what I'm focusing on now is the embroidery. So I have my red thread ready. I really hope this works, because this is my first time doing something like this. So there's all types of insertion works I can do. These, I don't know how I feel about them. There is an example in the book where they had this type of insertion work, which I really love. However, to do this required, I should have hemmed the whole garment with red thread and then taken white thread to tie the red threads together. Instead, I just hemmed the garment already and thought I would have to do the embroidery afterwards in red. So to remedy that, I'm just adding an extra step that this garment would not have done, which is just to run each edge with the red thread and then attach it together with white thread. White thread. I'm getting tongue-tied. And that is it for this video. The next video will be the continuation of the smock, where I go into actually using the embroidery and doing the open work insertion seams, which took a long time, but was really rewarding because it came out so gorgeous. But yeah, that'll be the next video, and then I don't know if the next video will also be stays, but we'll see, because I'm going with the flow with this. I'm seeing where the footage looks like it should stop, because I don't want these videos to be super long, and for super long for me it's like 30 minutes. I don't think most people have the attention span for that. Okay.